Hi gamers, SFG here, and it's been a little while, apologies. It's been a fairly long time for me since I've looked at Shadows of Forbidden Gods, but I didn't want to just put videos out for the sake of it, guys, and I was kind of waiting, or guys and girls, and I was kind of waiting for this. It's finally here, the version 0.10 update with holy orders and art by the looks of things, which is great. So most of this I think is going to be new to me, not all of it, obviously we've covered some bits of it, but we're going to take a look through this update video now. As always, I'm SFG, Simply Fun Gaming. I tend to cover indie gems, and as you're probably aware if you're here, I'm very much in love with a game called Shadows of Forbidden Gods, but I'll play anything that's fun, right? So we're looking at Shadows of Forbidden Gods. This is an update video. If you've clicked on this thumbnail, you know exactly what it is, and we're looking at Holy Orders and the art update here. So let's take a look at this now, guys, together. So new religious structures for humanity, we know about these, and new graphics for portraits and the main map. So this is quite interesting. Now let's take a look at this. Version 0.10 has taken a bit more than the usual month between updates, but is finally here. This version brings holy orders and a range of artistic updates. On the gameplay front, holy orders allow various human religious practices to be explored, manipulated or contended with, and we've got a video on this that I'll cut to at some appropriate point in the video, I suspect, when we get to the proper patch notes. On the artistic front, freelancers and generous members of the community have contributed towards making Shadows a more artistically complete and unified product. Right, okay, excellent. Community member and serial modder Brad Zeromorph Bolambo has been updating the faces of the heroes and the rulers to reflect their level of enshadowment. This new style better reflects the existing art used for the Dark Coronation event, and the enshadowment black bar is replaced with the dark tendrils, okay, to match how location infiltration is depicted. This new style lets the concept of humans becoming blind to the evil which is corrupting their world will be seen more dramatically and uniquely. Okay, that's pretty cool. No, style better reflects the existing art. Right, okay, so this is interesting. I think I saw a post on this actually at one point. I haven't looked into it into massive detail, but this is quite cool. So a community member, it looks like, has done this. So let's take a look here. Oh, I see. So the humans slowly go grey-haired, if they're not already, and their eyes go grey. That's pretty cool. So, I mean, this guy ain't got no more hair to go grey, but there we are, bless him. Oh, that looks really good. It looks really good, actually. What would all these tendrils look like? I'll have to have a look at that at some point in the when we get to playing, which I'll come on to at the end of this video, by the way. Alongside this, new art for location effects, such as Mammon's influence or warding, has been added. I have got some info on this, actually, which lets other icons appear alongside these effects on the map. This should increase the readability of the map. Work has also been done on the mid-challenge events to modernise them, giving them more balanced results, more diversity, and more consistent art choices. Right, okay, that's cool. So there's new map icons. I know about these. We'll go into those in detail. I've actually got some clips on those that I'd like to show. We have... And they're brilliant, by the way. They look fantastic. We've also got new... work has been done on the mid-challenge events to mod... Oh, okay, so I think the existing mid-challenge events have been a bit more updated, I guess, it looks like here. That's interesting. This should be an ongoing project for the next few versions. If all goes well, increasing the game's flavour and gameplay variety. Cool, right. Needed, I think, to be fair. I personally can't really enjoy the game without using... I think the mod, An Actual Englishman and Moors mod, is it? And a couple of others. It just feels too empty to me, so that's probably a massive bonus. Again, we'll see that when we come to actually play the game in the next few videos. Regarding the Holy Orders, these are international organisations which can exist across the borders of human nations and bring a wide variety of effects. They have temples, acolytes, and spread their faith, and can even choose prophets for themselves. We've seen this. They mostly initially start allied to humanity, and the acolytes of the faith is something of benefit to humanity, which range from healing plagues to preemptively placing wards, to warning of deep-born corruption, to raising awareness of the elder gods themselves. If you can influence them, however, you can corrupt them from within and make your own dark religion, which is a host of different options to choose from and undermine humanity. Each god brings their own unique option for corruption, holy orders, and Ophanim starts with his own holy order to twist as he sees fit. That makes sense. He is the god of religion, effectively, or sort of his focus is religion, if you like. Now I've got clips of this. I haven't covered these, but each god has got its own unique tenet. I've actually got clips of this as well that we'll get to. The prophecy system allows you to engage in mini quests to get your agents possibly appointed as prophet of religion. We've seen this, giving you a major passive influence gain. Potentially the most extreme example of this is by letting the Baroness convince a human religion that vampirism is a more reliable source of immortality than trusting in some unseen divine being, and turn them into a cult of blood-drinking murderers. Yes. So much, yes. Witches are also expanded, becoming a holy order in their own right, with a few unique tenets and some unique art. This makes them more flexible in gameplay terms, expands their lore, making them not just evil women living in the forest. It's a shame. Just as you could corrupt a holy order, there is a chance that humanity will try and redeem the witches and make them into a force for good working against you. Cool. Right, very good, very good. And we've seen all of this. Work on holy orders is not quite finished, and more expansion, polish, and possibly even additional mechanics can be expected in future updates. Just like gods have been updated as the game progresses, other mechanics can also be revisited and improved. On that note, the very first god, She Who Will Feast, received a new power and rebalanced endgame, bringing her more in line with how she's meant to be played. Awesome. Right, let's get into this, guys. So, there'll be a zoom thing in a second, but patch notes in detail. Gameplay, right. Holy orders added. Okay, so we've got... I'll pop a link in a second to a video on this so you can look at your leisure. We've covered this in two videos, a two-part video, so there's part 1 and then part 2. It's a preview video. Take a look. I go into it in quite a bit of depth if you haven't seen it already. Great addition. Love it. So deep as a mechanic. Can only get deeper as the developer Bobby looks to expand things, and I love them. Really, really love them. And I think, to be honest, most people seem to as well. It appears that the Discord loves them, and I think most people on Steam seem to love them too. So get excited if you haven't played with Holy Orders, guys. They're really cool. Bribe guards can't be stacked. Okay, kind of random, just sticking that there, but there we go. So this is I've actually played with this in the beta. So you can't... Previously, you could stack bribe guards, right? You could just have 25 gold, then 50 gold, just keep giving them 25 gold, 25 gold, 25 gold, 25 gold, and you could reduce security by 2 until you could get it to 0 and just easily break in to a location if it's like a capital or a city. That doesn't work anymore. So you could do it once, reduce it by 2, the security, and if you're not aware, the higher the security, the longer it takes to infiltrate locations. So you can only do it once, bribe guards. You can't keep doing it, which makes sense to me. Mechanically, I think it also is a good decision. It's quite difficult at the minute. You've got to really, to get into a capital location in particular, you've either got to invest a ton of time or you've got to infiltrate the places around it. And that will reduce the security too, but it does take a little bit more work, which is cool. Good change, I think that. Possession now cancels the action of the unit is taking when it ends. This makes sense, right? So you can't possess a hero, make them do volcanic eruption for argument's sake, and then they just continue to do it, even if they're not possessed, which would be silly. The curse now fulfills her vow of vengeance if the target dies, even if she did not kill the individual. Great. So when you spawn the curse, the Medusa, she gets a vow of vengeance and she's got to try and kill someone. If that person dies naturally, previously unlucky, she never got to fulfill her vow. Now, if they die, she's treated as having completed it because the person's dead, I guess, right? Which makes, again, a lot of thematic sense. It also makes her a bit more, slightly more powerful, which she needed, because she's quite a weak agent, if I'm honest. And what's this? Now, the Cursed Vow of Vengeance also gives her a paralysis trait, a 5-turn disruption to the hero she attacked, if they survived, making her a better disruption hit and run. That's useful, actually. That is quite useful. And I'm guessing it works on anyone, so you could use it on the Chosen One to re-screw with them. That's quite good. Mammon's Give-Take has been removed and replaced with the Shadow Market/Smuggling pair, which allow you to siphon wealth from an infiltrated city to another. This is designed to make Mammon require agents and give heroes more ways to counter you. Okay, so I find Mammon personally quite a unique god as it is. This, I think, is designed to bring him more in line with the other gods, where you actually need to use agents to do things for him to succeed, right? Because give and take, you just spend one pair and you could do whatever you want. It was irrelevant if you'd infiltrated. You literally don't need to, which is quite curious. This is a good change, I think. It just brings him in line with the other gods a bit more. Not anywhere near as much as probably most. He's still significantly different, but at least he's getting similar sort of mechanics and gameplay loops there. Gas require more death modifier on location, 15 to 25%. Menace for creating them increased from 7 to 10. Shadow generation reduced by 20. So gas have been nerfed. Makes sense, they're very powerful. We know about gas, death 1. Gas now properly recognise they can't shadow an area with high wards. Oh, so a buff as well, so that's a good thing, right? Okay, so they're a bit more intelligent. Vampires are now necromancers and can create gas, feed heals them to full. Right, so vampires, sorry, as in created vampires, not the Baroness, I don't think she's a necromancer, but non-vampires you create that you can't control are necromancers and could create gas. That's pretty cool. And create gas, and they heal on full when they feed. That's pretty good. Monstrous armies such as the Ravenous Dead or the First Daughter now motivate the creation of the Grand Army by the Chosen One for the weaker nations to join the alliance. Oh, this is good. So I think I've shown this in Death, actually, in my Death tutorial, but Ravenous Dead will just wipe a map, right, if you got it in a good position. I think the idea of this now is that it just, if the game, if you like, if the Chosen One and such sees that Ravenous Dead is coming and it's starting to wipe everybody, or maybe it's just starting, but if Ravenous Dead or the First Daughter's coming, then monstrous, scary armies, people are like, oh my god, we need to join the Alliance because this is getting pretty scary, right, which makes a lot of sense. I like this, that's a good change, I think. Added Organised Descent Challenge, which adds a long-lasting modifier which decreases security and increases unrest. Okay, cool, some more challenges being added, really useful. I think I've seen this, and I think it's a command challenge, which is quite good. So I think you'd need unrest to do it, but if it's got unrest, you can decrease security, which feeds into no stacking of bribes, right? Alternative ways to do things. If orcs are disabled, as a statistically equivalent Bandit King. No unique talents. Okay, so I guess that's rather than the Warlord, I presume there. So no, rather than Orc Warlord, you get the Bandit King. That's a good change. We need something to be a might agent if you're not playing with orcs, other than obviously the unique, the Baroness. Dark Coronation is now a command challenge. That makes sense. It should probably have always been. Oh, look at the depth of these notes, guys. Christ, you could tell he's been doing so much work on this, old Bobby. Menace gained from armies driving back heroes increases from 5 to 20. I think there was some exploit that could potentially be done here with armies driving back heroes perpetually if they're under your control. And obviously the menace increase means that other armies are more likely to come and kill them. Bountiful Harvest buffed, does more, drains the locust less, and AI heroes are far more enthusiastic about using it. Okay, good. So Bountiful Harvest, if you're not aware, is a geomancy spell that heroes can use to try and increase the habitability of an area. It's a kind of anti-Death of the Sun-ish, and I say ish because it's limited, but it is, kind of. But this is good because it means that the heroes can kind of spam it a bit more and use it more, right? And try and use it to counter you somewhat. And also, of course, because it gives habitability, words, it also increases things like army strength, prosperity, a number of things that feed into the useful state for humans to be in. Heroes can now remove shadow from rulers if the ruler is below 50% in shadowment using the drawback shadow challenge. So this is the shadow changes, right? We've seen this. There'll be a link, if I remember, popping up here too, so we can take a look at this when we're at your leisure. And there is a lot of shadow changes. I won't go into all of them now. That'll be one link. You can pop on that and then happy days. Let's have a look. Shadow averaging. This is another one. So again, rulers lose shadow when they cause a settlement to become enshadowed and vice versa, until they reach a near equal degree of enshadowment. So it makes it a bit more complex, the shadowing process, which I like and I think is good for the game. More difficult, but good. Feature points now include population lost, replacing settlements lost. So no longer do you win just by pure population. You now actually have to win using... it's based on the settlements. It's now based on the actual population, like a formula with the population lost. Which is better, I think, honestly. I think this is better for the game. I think it makes things a bit more complex and a bit more challenging, and also a bit more... What you could do is just like a village. If you kill a village, right, it would be worth the same amount to the game, if you like, to you winning as killing a city. Well, that makes no sense, right? There's a discrepancy there. If you kill 40,000 people as an evil god, it's obviously should have less of an impact than killing 120,000 people or 200,000 people, right? And that just wasn't there in the game, but this has brought it in now, which I like. Orc banners can now target other orc hordes for war. Cool, so you can go to war with other orcs if you wish. Added plague ships challenge, which spreads plague along sea trade routes to the next port. That's cool. I'll not use this, I've not seen this, but I like it. Quarantine effectiveness increased, requires plague greater than 140% for spread to occur. That's good, because plague is so strong. I think it's still very strong, but this looks like sensible nerfs. Orc hordes can now be unified together by a character holding two banners. Oh, okay, so similar to them going to war, you can actually, if you've got both banners, it looks like you can bring them together as one. That's really cool. Mammon now increases minimum world panic, the same as other gods. Again, has to be done. Mammon is so... he needs to be brought in line with the other gods, really, just as the general loop. People winning the game. I think I won the game with him with like 20% world panic, which is crazy, right? They should be a bit more scared about him eating everyone. Oath and Doubt, now less random, more consistent in its appearance while being based on the same factors. Okay, well this is good because we're going to play open him soon, and I'm glad doubt is a bit more predictable. I'd like that because we'll talk about it in great detail when we start playing open him, but doubt is kind of the anti-faith. It's a bit of a problem for him. Ophanim now works on a percentage-based system where the VP gain is a proportion of the population in Ophanim-controlled nations. Again, makes sense, similar to the population destroyed. If you colonise unclaimed areas, humanity will attempt to do the same to keep up. Nice. Need I say more? Right, sensible. Alliance locations now prevent infiltration from being attempted. Yes, because you could actually attempt to infiltrate, just waste your time attempting to infiltrate a place you'd never be able to finish, which is obviously silly. Opening faith now reduces security to a max of -3. That's good because sometimes you have faith but you haven't infiltrated the area, and it's good to then be able to easy infiltrate it and do things there, right? That makes a lot of sense actually. It just falls in line with Shadow. Also reducing security. She Who Will Feast now gains the ability to enshadow along trade routes using a new power, Serpent's Coils. I've got a little clip of this, guys. Let's cut to it now. So a new power for She Who Will Feast is the Serpent's Coils. And this is an interesting one. I'm going to try this here, guys. I've skipped ahead a bit, so I've not done much in this game. But Serpent's... Look at... I love, by the way, the artwork for this. So good. So good. I don't think I noticed before the eyes and the shadows and cloud senses had the same icon. That's curious. But anyway, Serpent's Coils. The snake twists and its malign influence slips into the hearts of men writhing through their societies and across their lands, bringing darkness, apathy and sin. Influence is a trade route which starts or ends in a fully infiltrated city, so it has got some requirements here, causing it to add 1% shadow to all locations it passes through each turn for 25 turns. Pretty strong. Must be cast on a human city with 100% infiltration, which is the beginning or end of a non-influenced trade route. So, let's try this. Serpent's Coils. Click here. I think this will work. So now I believe... Pretty sure this is a trade route. Let's just double check. 9. It's definitely a trade route somewhere. Let's have a look here. You can just snake oil. Oh, this is one of those mods I haven't showcased yet. Wonder Blunder. Okay, well I need to come through this in a proper video, but we'll wait for that. Oh my goodness, spoilers. We'll follow that properly next time. You can do, I don't know, let's have a look. 1% in shadow, 2% in shadow. Oh my word, spoilers, go away, spoils, too many spoils. I should have done this without the mods active, apologies guys. But yeah, so 2% shadow. So you should be getting less than 1% here. Just infiltrate this. This will also be going to, there we go. 3% through. Oh, you're not on the trade route. I wish I could really do with knowing what's affected here. That is. That's not. It's not. This looks like one of the world's shortest trade routes, and it must go like this. This. Maybe it goes like around there, perhaps. This is getting in shadow just a bit slow, but it might be catching from this. Curious. Let's skip a few turns. Go away. Stop spoiling it for me. Yeah, 10% knock now. 8%. Obviously it's a bit wonky with how it goes up because of the enshadowment of the ruler too. But definitely things are enshadowing, guys. Let's try that again. I haven't got enough power. Silly me. Right, let's wait until I have. There we go. Can't do it, it's already influenced. I wish it would tell me that it's influenced though. That would be really useful to know. Anyway, I do like this. I like the fact that She Who Will Feast, bless her, is finally getting some new powers and something that's actually quite interesting, it feels like to me. And useful. I think that is actually a good tool. There was a time, I think, where it fully enshadowed everywhere on the route, which is pretty funny. Like instant enshadowment everywhere. But this is a cool trade-off, I think. And hopefully once it needs to tell you somewhere, it's got to say. Yeah, no, it should say somewhere like, this is affected by this ability, come back in 25 turns, and then you can do it again, right? But a really great ability, great to see She-Hulk Feast getting some extra love here. Let's just check out real quick. Oh my goodness, look at this art. Oh, so good. So good. Misk Sitarai, what's she about with this blindfold? Oh, so cool. Anyway, right, let's see what else we got, guys. Ophanim has his own holy order with unique tenets. Oh, okay, I think I've got a clip of this. I have, right, we're going to cut to this as well. Let's go. Ophanim gets his own unique faith called, as default, Ophanimic faith, as you can see here. So when you create a theocracy, I'll just close this 1 second. So when you create a theocracy, which I've done here, too early really, guys, but just to demonstrate this. So create a theocracy. We'll come into that when we actually play as Ophanim in the next playthrough, which is coming soon, I promise. But you can create a theocracy here, and the faithful locations will join the theocracy. And what happens then is you can go to this and you could do this before actually, you can amend the holy order, but it'll actually start to do things. So you can create acolytes, and they'll obviously go out and do normal holy order things. So you can see here I've got Crusader faith, which is really good for opening actually. We could do so we can do Paranoid Society. We can increase our power gain here. Inquisitors, get rid of doubt, which is pretty cool. So let's just do some of this because we can, right? So we'll do some of this, and then if I think to create close this, I think I need to use a power. Call to serve, is it? Yes, so call to serve. The mind study grows blank, filled with nothing but the god's voice, speaking in a language no human can pronounce, yet entirely intelligible. It commands without consideration that anything might disobey. Nice. So it creates an acolyte in the service of Ophanim's holy order who can build temples and automatically carry out tasks based on how you assign tenets, consumes a recruitment point. As you can see there, must target a human settlement with Ophanim's holy order requires a recruitment point. So you've got to use a recruitment point, and it costs 3 power, which is pretty expensive. But where should we do one? Let's do one here. So now look at this. Hold up. New art on these as well. We may have already covered this, but this is the holy order art, so these are great. Look at these. Oh, they look so good. So she'll now go about doing her holy things, getting rid of doubt for us, preaching a bit of faith, which is nice. And we can keep tweaking that. Go out the way. Leave, go out the way. Dismiss that. Again, just messing about here, guys. Should have done things differently, but just to give you an example here. So she's going to do Inquisition to get rid of doubt here. Nice. And the Holy Order, let's just take another look at this. Ophanimic faith. I'll probably rename this something, Let's think, what would we rename this? Angels of Grace or something, equally puerile and generic, but Angels of Grace or whatever. So at the minute we've got Temple Builders 1, Preachers 1. Okay, so they will preach and build temples. We automatically gain 10 influence a turn. We've got 5 because we've got the Prophets, who's our supplicant. Makes sense, right? And we also have all these acolytes, worshippers, that are also adding to that, I believe. Let's have a look here. I'm curious that you can actually, despite having the supplicant lot to this, you still have another prophecy. And maybe if they die, you can create a new one. So you've got the normal moral tenets. You do have some unique ones. So you've got Sap Life Force, Paranoid Society, and I think that's, of course, Inquisitors, which I've taken. Right, so these are the unique to Ophanim tenets. So this one destroys doubt, which I think is cool. Decreases population. I have to see how much it does, but it's probably better than the agents doing it. Paranoid Society slows doubt, reduces prosperity. So again, there's little weaknesses to some of these. And Sap Life Force gives you more power, but you lose population. So you could use that in the late game, or the later game, to just drop smites everywhere, right? Which is, spoilers, Ophidium gets a pretty redonkulous final power that just nukes places, basically. And you can use Sap Life Force to do that more often. He also gets access to some of the standard tenets here: awareness, healers, intransigent faith, candle circles to get rid of wards, etc. Safety and ignorance, all of these things. So you've got the mix here of things you can choose. The problem I think with some of this is, apart from maybe charitable works, but most of these, like plague, doesn't affect much of Ophidium Society. Intransigent faith is probably not a good thing to have, because it'll mean you'll be more likely to go to war with the various other nations, which could be a problem. And candle circles should be controlling shadow anyway, so some of these aren't the most useful, but as I think Bobby hopefully will add more tenets to the Holy Orders, some of these will become likely more relevant to Ophidium, and maybe these unique ones can be tweaked slightly. Paranoid, Sap Life Force, I think they're okay, probably just be deemed a little bit more powerful. And here's where the influences look. So about 9% faithful people in shadowed, 64% of faithful settlements are infiltrated, and the profit is a supplicant. This is why I'm getting so much per turn. And even before I made this, I could influence it, because the profit, obviously, bonus for per turn, just tick, 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 tick. So once every, once every 50 turns you get you get to infiltrate the thing regardless of what you're doing, which is quite nice. You get to influence, the religion regardless of what you're doing, which is quite nice. So I love this. It makes Ophidium even more deep, and I feel like he was already kind of the deepest god as it was. I know some people think he's fairly basic, but I think he's only basic if you really understand how he plays, and on the surface I think he's a bit more complex than most of the other gods. Certainly until you got the handle of him, you're not just looking to do outright destruction, you're kind of empire building and trying to be subtle, and then you hit them bam with a load of obviously a load of damage, a load of military might effectively. So it is interesting. I think it's a great change. I mean, originally there was talk, I believe, of Bobby just not having any faith in the Ophidium societies, which I think would have been a huge mistake, right? If there was been zero faith at all, I think that would have been kind of lame, if I'm honest, if I could say that. But the way it's done, it could probably be improved, and I think it will be improved, but we'll get there when we get there, right? It's great for now. Anyway, guys, on to the next changes. Minerva grants access to a darker nature tenet in the Witches, which allows them to increase the effects of her gifts. I've got a clip of this, guys. Let's go to that. We'll see in some detail. Minerva players will get a darker nature unique Holy Order tenet. You can see it here. It's got 2 levels, actually. This one's quite interesting. Acolytes of this faith will cultivate Minerva's gifts, causing them to increase by 1% per turn, per level of tenet for 20 turns, thus making them more attractive. So that's interesting. And allowing you to do more with the gifts. To be honest, Minerva didn't really need a buff, I've got to be honest, in terms of how she plays. She's incredibly powerful. Almost to the point of, I think, being kind of, dare I say, broken. She's actually too good, I think, in many ways. Yeah, I literally think she's the strongest goddess. But anyway, irrespective, she gets this tenet, and this is a great one, actually. I think this is pretty cool because this actively helps her primary gameplay. Like, you're never going to play Minerva and not want better and more gifts. So that's just a bonus. Do you know what I mean? It's just literally a win-win. It also seems to me like they'll do it anyway. It's not locked to where the religion is, which is huge, right? Because that means it can be used offensively as well as defensive. It can be used anywhere, which is just a super win. I do like this. I think this is a very strong tenet, and I think that more of the other tenets should be similar to this in terms of power. I've got to be honest with the other gods, but anyway, it's a good one. If you're using Minerva, maybe do play into this one. And of course, Minerva's got all Well, the witches have all the crazy ones that link into her game plan pretty well anyway. So, She Who Will Feast grants access to the Sect of the Serpent 10 in Holy Orders, which transfers menace away from your agents to their acolytes and temples. Can't drop below minimum, of course, as always. Again, got a clip here, guys. Here we go. She Who Will Feast gains a unique tenet called Sect of the Serpent. You can see it here on the screen. It's this one here. Your agents with menace above their minimum will transfer it slowly to acolytes and temples of this faith in their location. So not the strongest. I mean, it's always good to get rid of menace, but you've got to be at a location where the faith is, which is the only limitation really. And of course it will get acolytes killed, but they respawn anyway, so not the end of the world. It's cool. I like that one. It's better than nothing for sure. Probably not the most powerful thing, but it's still useful and it's still flavorful. I do like that. That's quite cool. Iasta grants access to Maddening Insights tenet in Holy Orders, which causes rulers to go insane while mages research arcane secrets. Here's a clip. Iasta's unique tenet is Maddening Insight, which is this here. Rulers of this faith, it's obviously to do with sanity, right, will lose 1 point of sanity while a non-agent mage is learning an arcane secret, as will the mage. Pretty weak, I feel like. Not the most... Oh, rulers of this faith only. So they've got to be in the faith or lose sanity while a non-agent mage is learning. I don't know, it feels kind of weak, to be honest, guys. I mean, it could be good, obviously, as an offensive tool. I'll say good, it can be okay as an offensive tool. It's probably weaker than, just using Iasta's other maddening inducing things. But it's, it's flavourful, it suits, and it's interesting that it links to the arcane secrets, I feel like. That is quite cool, because Iasta does kind of lend himself to the magic game, and this could be used to kind of really play into that a little bit. I think do I like this? I'd probably take it just for the flavour, but it's probably rubbish. But anyway, on to the next ones. Mammon grants access to Indulgences tenet in Holy Orders, which causes rulers of the faith to transfer gold to your agents when in the same location. And here's another clip. So Mammon, our final god, we've done all the others, has got Indulgences here. This is his unique tenet. It's only a 1 stage, and rulers of this faith will transfer 1 gold per turn to your agents in the same location. It's kind of trash. Sorry for that weird sound, but I don't know what else to say. It is, apart from make a weird noise, this to me is rubbish. I don't see why I'd ever take this over somebody, unless there was just really poor options here. I can't see why this would ever be that useful. If they transferred maybe 1 gold per turn to the agents, regardless of location, like every ruler of the faiths, gave it to the nearest agent or something, that would be okay. But just what? No, this is rubbish. I wouldn't bother with that. Indulgences, it's kind of poor. And what's curious is, apart from Vernerva's, all of the Elder God specifics are above Arbormancy and Human Sacrifice. Vernerva's is below, which is quite strange. Not sure why that is. But yes, so Indulgences, I would not bother with this, honestly. Again, Mammon's another one where he's kind of like... He plays very differently to the god, so that's one thing, but I think he's probably next to Vernerva the easiest. Vernerva does play semi-classically. Actually, she doesn't really. She's also quite unique, in a sense of you don't always want to just straight up destroy. Well, not straight away anyway. I think they've got very different problems. But yeah, Vernerva and Mammon probably didn't need much of the help in this regard anyway. Indulgences doesn't help him though. I honestly would not bother with that. I'd sooner take things like this, Manus of the Outer Spheres, than that just for the fun of it. But it's there if you want to really play into that money. You've got the option, and you never know, that 1 goal might make all the difference, perhaps. Anyway, moving on. She Who Will Feast now starts at 200 HP and grows only by 1 HP a turn, down from 3 HP a turn. So she starts stronger, but she doesn't grow as quick. And that makes sense, right? Because there's a lot of times when she would be born. And I think players are like, you expect a god snake to be born and to be a flipping badass. And she was kind of born and it was like, what? She's got 30 health. Is that it? Is this a joke? It's just super vulnerable. And I think a few players actually had her born and then had to run her away because she almost got immediately curb stomped, which is she's a god, right? Yes, if there's 3 or 4 armies piling on her, she should take beats, but come on. So I like this change. I think this is appropriate. It also lets her she's less She has less sustain, which I think is also appropriate. National colours will try to avoid duplicating each other to improve map readability. Oh yes, I love this. Small change, but very useful. Map icons changed for Ward, Devastation, Opening Faith, Opening Doubt, Mammon Influence. Surrounds the map location graphic to allow a second icon to be displayed alongside them. I've got a clip of this. We're going to it right now. So what are these lovely new icons, I hear you cry? Well, we've got a couple examples here on the screen for you guys. Just loaded this up here. This is an opening game, getting sort of towards a mid-ish game here, but we've got some wards up. If you're wondering what this lovely circular symbol is here, just at the city of Iliez, and it's a section convent there, you can see these circles, and I absolutely love this. I just think it looks absolutely fantastic. It really signifies to me, like perfectly signifies to me, what a ward should look like on the map. And if I zoom out for you, you might catch a few more here, but you can see, look at a glance, you can see where the wards are, where the problem places are. So much easier. You can also see, because of the brightness of the ward, that this one has more ward than this. See, 72% against 84. I think we've got some even brighter ones somewhere, perhaps. 76. What's this one? 92. So they do get brighter depending on the power of the ward as well, which I think is a really nice touch. Now you might have spotted some other of the new icons. We've got this brain icon here at Ara Village, which is Doubt, the new Doubt icon, guys. So this means that there's Doubt now. Opening's Doubt is at the location. A bit unfortunate. I would like it if you could have both Doubt and Faith at the same location. You can kind of see the both of them. Then you can see the power of your faith, and you can see that kind of waning, and then the doubt creeping in there. I'm not sure how that would work with this brain icon, maybe, but I don't know. It would just be cool if you could get these overlapping somehow, like including this as well, the wards, doubt, and faith, etc. But you've got doubt here with this brain icon, and again, that'll become more potent as the level ticks up. And you also have this faith icon here, which is this lovely light here. You can see glowing out of a few of the locations, and at the higher it is again, 144, the more bright it is, as you can see there. So the same with doubt. Look at this powerful doubt here at these two locations. That's very strong compared to what's this, 1%. This is 31. Yeah, so it's creeping up, and you can tell there, given the strength of the icon there, the power of the icon. We can also see one more nice new icon on this page. I'm not sure if you can spot it on the screen rather, but it's this one here. So Saurian Village here has got this lovely, look at this for devastation. Look at this. I love this. I really love this actually. Let's get the house out of the way a sec, get it out of the way. Look at this, that is beautiful. So much better than the old one. Again, I wish some of this stuff did overlap, so you could have like devastation, faith, doubt, everything, as much as you could overlap in, so I could just get as much information as possible. At the minute, it's kind of limited. You can get two things, so you can see there's a fishman cult here, and you've got wards, that's it. You know, you can see the Well of Shadows. I don't know if you'd see devastation too with that. I think you would, but it's quite limited, the amount of information we could see. If these icons could somehow be made in a way where they could like overlap and intersect with each other, personally I think that'd be perfect. So as you can see on the screen now, I've got Mammon's symbols loaded up too, and we can see here a couple of different things. You've got Mammon's influence, reach, which is the symbols here without the chains, and then you've got his direct influence, which is the symbols with the chains. Again, I do like this. It gives an immediate, you just get information straight away in terms of what's going on. You can also see the boards again, look, but you can see exactly what's happening on screen. The things that are probably, I think this is a bit too thick, this border perhaps, and again it's that whole interlocking. So I like a way for there to be like a mix of these things on here. Obviously you'd never have reach and like direct influence and reach, that they're unnecessary. The two are conflicting. You can't have both at the same location, you never will. But there could be, I can imagine that devastation, you wouldn't really see much devastation with this as it is, which is a shame. They don't overlap anyway, but I think it'd be cool if they did somehow. Maybe the flames just peeping at the top here, I don't know, but I do, great changes. The aesthetics are vastly improved already, and they haven't even gone through all the icons yet. Quite a few of the icons are just still the old ones, so more work to be done no doubt once the artists and Bobby get around to it, but fantastic improvement, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of this. The Laughing King Toe now drops if the current holder dies, including rulers. sensible change. More of a balance thing, I would suggest, but okay. Very, very useful. So this is a chunky update. It looks kind of... I went through it pretty quick there, and as classic Bobby, he hasn't really emphasised the things that are huge, such as Holy Orders, such as all of these different effects that the, you know, Holy Orders got less of a mention as a unique tenor. You know what I mean to say? But these are huge, huge changes, guys, and very interesting changes. They make the game, I think, for me anyway, they make the game a bit more interesting. They make it more challenging. They make it more deep. They give you more tools, but they also give the enemies, you know, the heroes, more tools too, which I think is brilliant. So just go on to other now, and there'll be another effect. Wars now give AI reasons. This is great. So what happens here is, if there's a war, the game tells you why. And it's fairly simple, positives, negatives, but it just tells you, which is good. Issue where a national action might appear in the UI for a location with no nation is fixed. A national action might appear in the UI for a location with no nation. Curious. Well, so yeah, good. It sounds like a bug fix, but whatever. Map view buttons in the bottom right are now collapsible. This to give the currently assigned key. Oh, yes. So you can actually, rather than do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to 9, 1 to 9, and the F1 to 6, I want to say, buttons for your map filters. You can actually click on a little button. I'd never use it because I prefer to use the numbers. I'm just quicker, but you can click on that if you don't have a keyboard or whatever plugged in, or it's too far away or something. And you can use them. You can use the map filters that way, which is good. It also looks a lot more professional, if I'm honest. The game now recalls map settings such as size or orc presence. So everything you set when you're messing with the map and the settings and so on, it saves, right, which is a change. It used to just default, you had to go into it and change it. Now it just saves it, which is really, really good, much better. The game now remembers its previous size if resized in windowed mode. Okay, great, useful. The magical arms race can be toggled off in map options. I don't know why you would ever do this, to be honest. It might make the game, ironically, it's potentially even harder, crazily enough, but I guess if you don't want to have any threat of high-level mages, you can do that. Military escorts from rulers can be disabled. Okay, if you want to make the game super easy, I guess, get that first win in. Units now arrange themselves to avoid overlapping in the place, namely if there are fewer than 4 in a location. Ah, right, so things at a location, agents, heroes, etc., will put themselves such that they don't, hopefully, don't overlap on the place name. That's a good change. Added new game option for islands type map. I've seen this, I've not tried it, but it sounds interesting. Various views in the scrollable right hand side can be given filtered text. Oh, this is huge, right? So, right, when you're looking for certain things like a hero or a modifier or whatever, you can actually type in madness for argument's sake, and it will just, obviously, it will quickly summarize that. Or you could type in Le Fay, and it would show you just the rulers that are called Le Fay. Oh, it's such... I can't emphasize how good this is. Like Mediator, right? And all the mediators will show. It's huge. In fact, I might even do as sad as it sounds, I might at one point do a video on like these kind of UI updates, because they're big and they're very useful. Non-guitar music disabled due to copyright hits. Okay, yeah, so this is curious. I mean, I'm interesting. I didn't realise he was aware of this, but I actually got a few copyright hits from this game when I've been playing it, and I think it was some of the more interesting music, which is a real shame. And I don't think it's actually copyrighted. I just think it's a mistake on like YouTube or whoever's part, but unfortunately it was popping up as copyright, and it was a bit of a faff, and I think it probably puts other people off potentially covering the game, which is a shame. So hopefully he'll get that sorted. I might actually speak to him and see if I can try and give him the exact track that was doing it, because it was only one track, I think, for me. It wasn't all of them, it's just one. So anyway, yeah, that's a bit of a shame, but I guess it is what it is. Try and encourage some more community stuff. The curse, so Bugfixes now, guys. The curse now properly applies defense reduction. Okay, good, she should have always. Volcanic eruption range fixed. Again, it should be the appropriate range. Madness effects at locations can only occur once while the madness effective is active. I think it means the same one, so you can't stack like multiple fascination, for example, that gives you power. So you can't have a place go insane, get fascination, and then get fascination again. Yeah, it doesn't stack, which makes sense. You don't get getting 2 power every 10 or 5 or whatever it is turns some location. That would be absolutely bonkers. Vampires will no longer cast Well of Shadows on locations without enshadowable neighbours. Good, so they don't waste their time, basically. Medical experiments now requires the appropriate amount of plague. Excellent, I like this too. Because that was, I think, yeah, previously that was, you could do that with like 1% plague, which was a bit broken. Medical experiments, if you're not as aware, is what the plague doctor's unique way of generating arcane secrets. It's still very good, by the way, but don't tell Bobby I told you. Heroes driven off by armies won't continue their attack. Oh, interesting. So if you, yeah, this is it. So if you push a hero away with an army, previously they would still attack the person if they were within reach of them, as it were, if they made it to them. Now they won't. That action is cancelled, and I think the reason why armies get much more menace for doing that now is because obviously it's a bit exploitable if you can have somebody sit there just immune to being attacked effectively via armies, right? Certainly for a long amount of time. Ophanim's duality trait will now flip states properly. Okay, cool. Should have done always. I've never noticed that not working, to be honest, but that's curious. It's a good trade that I might be. We'll see. We'll talk about Ophanim later. Confess their heroes won't drive themselves insane. Makes sense. I don't think they ever should have. I think they're supposed to drive other people insane. Unfortunate for the Astra players and me. Names will be less likely to be repeated in people's houses. Cool. I like this. It's a tiny thing, but it makes such a big difference in terms of enjoyment of the game. Hopefully they'll start getting names that are a bit more like pronounceable, for lack of a better word, or maybe a more anglicised Latin, those sorts of things. Difficulty buttons fixed. Good. They should have always been. Sectarian violence, if it reduces population to 0, now properly remove the settlement. Another Ophanim ability. Seems like Ophanim's got a few things here. Armies will now engage agents properly. I assume it means to boot them out, or... Oh, no. Yeah, so when armies are doing 1 damage to an agent, if they're stuck there, they've got really high menace and profile. It wasn't doing that. And you could get away with a lot of naughty things. Now I think it is. By the looks. Game will now check for resolution in full screen mode more consistently when minimising. Okay, cool. Heroes are now dismissed military escort knights if they're over their command limit or other minions. Good, right, okay, so that makes a lot of sense. I don't like... It's a bit silly, actually. Heroes seem to just ignore the command limit. It's good if that's been fixed. Minions and items will now be lost if he asks the supplicant uses the favourite toy trait. That makes sense. He shouldn't come back with everything he had before. It's a bit... he ain't taking his knife with him to the afterlife and then back again, is he? Favourite toys when he comes back to life, for those of you that aren't aware. Gas now automatically stops in shadowing if Ophanim Faith appears in their location. Perfect. So it's not going to interrupt and mess with Ophanim. That's good. Ruler's aversion to being executed by joining the alliance increased minus 150. Wait. Ruler's aversion to being executed by joining the alliance. Right, so I think what this means is rulers that are going to be executed if they join the alliance are much less likely to do so, and the amount they're much less likely to do so is 450, which is a serious motivator, which makes sense. I haven't encountered this too much myself, but what I think other people have is this weird situation where alliance goes into a civil war, breaks apart, eventually conquers the parts that were civil, war against it, and then the rulers immediately rejoin the alliance, and then they're executed for being like naughty boys that did a civil war, which doesn't make any sense, right? So I'm glad that's been fixed. The game won't crash if the Conclave of Peace fixes a grudge against the house from V0.10. Okay, cool, good. I'm glad the game won't crash. That's a nice change. So again, guys, look at I know I've kind of gone through this fairly quick, so I don't want this to be a 3-hour long video, but some big changes here. We've got different portraits which look wicked. I don't know if this has been done for everyone, but hopefully it's been done for a lot of heroes and rulers. These are certainly all familiar to me, except maybe this guy. I don't know if I've seen him, but anyway, yeah, so that's and they look wicked. I'll be interested in these tendrils, see how they look. The map icons, a really big map, I love them. They're so good. I want more of these, and I want them to start stacking on each other so I can see everything that's going on in my dream. We'll see, but I'd love that. Holy Orders, huge. I think he said already he's not finished with them, so expect there to be updates on that, guys. Bobby is, I think, looking at that quite actively. We've got even the events have been tweaked internally, so that's cool, and it looks like there's going to be a bit of a focus on that, which is good for the next few months. So hopefully there'll be some more interesting events, more of them, just options basically. and they'll, fingers crossed, be a bit more interesting and balanced, because some of them in the past were simply, skip over it, who cares sort of jobs. It's another great change, guys. I know it's taken a little while to get here, and I think I've seen a few people are like, is the dev still alive? Is it okay, etc. I don't speak too often, but I do keep an eye on the Discord fairly regularly. And I have, on a few occasions, contacted Bobby directly, and he's always responded very quickly. I get the distinct impression, guys, that this is something he's invested a lot of his sort of passion into, for lack of a better term. So I can't see him going anywhere until this is to a state where he wants it to be. And let's be honest, the game is just getting better and better and better with every update, and not just like a little bit better, slight changes, huge epic level changes here. So it's another amazing change. I'm really happy about it. Let's rate that up. That's how happy I am. I'll leave a comment once I get this video out and pop a link there if anybody's interested, obviously, if you get it that way. But a great change, guys. Super huge update. I know it's taken a little while, but it's good that we now have it, and I'm happy we have it, because obviously now, and this, leading on to something I mentioned earlier, we could start our Ophanim playthrough. Woohoo! So Ophanim, I'm going to be starting him very soon, guys. What I'm going to do is, I think I'm going to do a live stream, and I'll put information. I'm thinking, and it's only, I'll put proper information on the community page, so keep your eyes peeled on that. But I'm thinking of doing it this Thursday, which would be, if you're back in time, bear with me, I'll have a look here, Thursday the 25th of August. I'm thinking of doing it then around 9 o'clock GMT. I'm English, in case that wasn't obvious, or British, I suppose. But so I'm thinking of doing it then for now, but I want to live stream it, guys, because I really want to get your engagement on it, and I want you to be involved while I'm playing, which I think will be super fun. Obviously now we can do this whole Holy Order of Ophanim, which is awesome. I'm really excited for that. We'll try some little or some new interesting play styles, I think. So look out for that. Obviously there's a couple of things that you could do if you wish. You can become a member of the channel if you want to give me some support that way. There is also these things called super likes, I think they're called, and like super stickers or something. Anyway, long story short, you can like throw me, I think, a couple of, I don't know if it's pence, pounds, I've honestly no idea, guys, apologies, but you could throw me a little bit of cash if you wish, and put like a comment, and it'll be like flagged up, and it'll be all fancy and so on, if you appreciate the work I do. And obviously thank you ever so much, as always, to everybody who comments, likes, subscribes, watches, everything, guys. I really do appreciate it. Thank you ever so much for your support. So look out for opening video coming up soon. I'll comment on the community page on the channel as to when it's going to be and what the crack is with regards to how I'm going to do that. I am going to definitely live stream. I know I did a vote and people would have preferred something else, but I really want to live stream it, guys. I think it'd be so much more fun. And hopefully you'll think so too. If it doesn't work, listen, I'll go back to the old format. No worries, right? I'm not going to live stream it all in one go. It's still going to be episodic, but I think that's just a cool way to do it. Maybe half an hour to 45-minute little sessions. Anyway, we'll see. Fingers crossed you guys enjoy it and I enjoy it too. And yes, as always, thank you for watching. Apologies, I've been a little bit quiet lately. Great update. Thank you, Bobby, for doing this update. And fingers crossed, I'll see you, if I do it then, on Thursday. Take care.